Hi everyone, we are live for a new episode of the Novak Weekly Podcast. This time I am alone. I am alone because Marko is not not feeling particularly well this week, so we wish him well. And yeah, I am. I will be here with you talking about especially what happened last week because there was the um, final moment, let's say, of the ATP season, especially for Novak Djokovic, because we saw the Davis Cup final eight in Malaga. 8 teams, which included Serbia. One winner, which has been Italy, the Italian team guided by Yannick Sinner, and also with Matteo Arnaldi, Lorenzo Musetti, Lorenzo Sonego, and Simone Bolelli. As we know, the Serbian team beat in the quarterfinal the Great Britain, the British team, with great performances, especially by Miomir Kecmanovic, who had a very tough opponent in Jack Draper, and then also, of course, our Novak Djokovic, who won in straight sets against Cameron Norrie. So Serbia didn't even need to play the doubles in order to qualify to the semifinals. And yeah, nothing. This was the quarterfinal. And then 2 days later, on Saturday, we have had the incredible tie between Italy and Serbia, which we know that Serbia lost, despite having won the first rubber, because Miomir Kecmanovic has been great, really, really great in his performance against Lorenzo Musetti. A fantastic first set by both players. Kecmanovic already up a break, and then Musetti came back, won in a tiebreak, 9-7 in the tiebreak in the first set. And after that, a little bit of muscular issues for Musetti, but Kecmanovic has been great, striking 49 winners and only 19 unforced errors. I think by a mile, his best performance of the year. Serbia was in a great position at that point. And then there's been the match between Novak Djokovic and Yannick Sinner. A match that had it all, because as we know, and Novak was a bit off in the first set, even if Djokovic was playing, Sinner, was playing great. In fact, Sinner won the first set 6-2. And it was the first time Novak lost a set with winning less than 3 games in the Davis Cup since 2010. So just to highlight how that first set has been a little bit, let's say, shocking. But also credits to Sinner's level. And in the second set, we have the total opposite situation. In fact, Djokovic won the set 6-2. Basically, the role became the opposite, with Sinner's level dropped a little bit, and Djokovic took fully advantage of that situation and produced some great tennis to win the set 6-2 and force the decider. What to say about the deciding set? Because it's been, everything happened. Djokovic had the most chances, actually, because he had some break points, some deuce moments on Sinner's serve. At some moments, Sinner's service games were lasting, doubles the time Djokovic wants. When Sinner was serving down 4-5, Djokovic had 3 consecutive match points on love 40. So basically, Serbia was 1 point away from getting to the final. And Sinner saved all these match points and actually won the match 7-5 in the third. It was only the fourth match of Novak Djokovic's career in which the world number one lost despite having some match points. And then the doubles. In the doubles, Italy with Sinner and Sonego won in straight sets over the Serbian team with Djokovic and Kecmanovic. What to say? Probably it's been a little bit of a disappointing campaign from Novak in this Davis Cup. Because for sure, especially not because you can lose. In my opinion, of course, against Italy and against Sinner, because we all know the Italian team is pretty strong. It was already producing some good performances in the previous years, and also we know that Sinner is doing an incredible job and is playing at an amazing level, especially in this past couple of months. So it can be okay, it can be reasonable also to lose against this team, but of course those 3 match points probably are still in the mind of all of our Serbian followers and moods. What to say? First match point, I was wondering. Most of people would argue, I don't know, that if Novak Djokovic could have done something better, if Sinner became just unplayable. Well, let's say that it's a bit of both. First match point, Djokovic played a bad backhand slice during mid rally when the rally was still not really at very, very high rhythm. So probably, that first match point, Novak could have really done something more, at least not missing. Well, then second match point was just a great Sinner serve. So I don't think there's going to be any regret regarding that one. And then the third match point, still a good serve from Sinner, who then came to the net. We can argue that Djokovic could have made the passing shot down the line. There was room for passing. Djokovic chose for going close to Sinner's body, and Sinner actually pulled the volley in. So let's say maybe in that case it's a bit of a 50-50, because still Sinner played well and was let's say was courageous in going to the net, and this bravery actually paid off. Probably the most regrets are going to be, in my opinion, in the following game when Novak got broken, because there he was 30-15 up, and actually that was the game, in my opinion, he played worse between the two. Not really played bad in the game, in the game in which he didn't convert the 3 match points, because we've talked about this backhand slice, but then also, for example, when Sinner got to deuce, then produced 2 incredible serves, which Novak just couldn't return. In my opinion, the following game was the the one with the most regret, because then it came the break that decided the match. Of course, when 2 incredible players face off, like Djokovic and Sinner, especially the latest version of Sinner, which is arguably, let's say the most, or the second most, just behind Novak, the second most informed player of the moment. It's all of a matter of fine margins. Also, I can understand that Novak fans are not really, used to watching him lose this kind of matches, because, as we know, in his career, it only happened 4 times, which is an incredible stat, because if we are considering how many times over a season it happens, we see some match points saved in the main tour, It's a quite common situation, we have to say. And so it's incredible and amazing to think that Djokovic only lost 4 times in his entire career, which is lasting in, he became pro in 2003, but the ATP, let's say 18 years, and it only happened 4 times. So it's actually incredible also, because we have to think that the opposite thing is that he won 17 times by saving match points. So I totally understand why Djokovic fans are really not used to watch this situation. Yeah, so of course I think that we are in a situation in which we have to tell both sides of the story, because for sure we have to give credit to Sinner, because Sinner played great in that moment, and it's actually amazing, in my opinion, to underline how how well he played under pressure, his ability of facing, not avoiding the challenge, because we have also talked about the fact at the ATP finals about him possibly tanking the match to eliminate Novak. Instead, no, he really wanted to play Djokovic as many times as possible, and he played him 3 times in the past 2 weeks. Lost probably the most important one, which was the final of the ATP finals, but won the other 2, and we have to give credit to him, in my opinion, for actually challenging Novak and not avoiding the challenges. On the other side, probably we could have expected something more from Novak in that crucial point of the match, and that's for sure. He became a little bit tight. He suffered a little bit of the pressure. I don't know how if some of you may agree with us, but it's something that has happened. Has happened sometimes when he was, wearing the Serbian shirt at the Olympics, in some Davis Cup matches. It's something that has happened. For example, I was watching a stat which said that Novak was love 7 against top 5 players between Davis Cup and the Olympic Games. Yeah, definitely Novak. I think that he puts a lot of pressure on himself when playing for his country, because he really feels the responsibility to not having just success for his own, like he has basically all the year and also the previous season, but also bringing Serbia some national trophies. For example, the Davis Cup, the Olympic gold medal, which will be his biggest goal for the next season, given that this is the only thing that his palmarès lacks. He puts himself a lot of pressure, and that's for sure. I think that this could play a role in some of his matches when playing Davis Cup and Olympic goals. Even if I would like to still underline that Novak Djokovic won the Davis Cup with Serbia in 2010. So let's say that probably this pressure increased even more with time, probably because, I don't know, maybe because right now he feels like these are his last season, so these are the last years in which he can try to bring Serbia some trophies. And also maybe the more success he was having as a single player, maybe the more pressure he even put on himself while playing for Serbia. That said, this loss against Sinner in Davis Cup was just the first in singles for him since 2011. So it's not that, he lost that many Davis Cup matches. So yeah, it's difficult to explain. For sure, also, let's say that playing the Davis Cup so late in the season probably doesn't even help him that much, because he can be there a little bit tired and exhausting about his season, because we have talking about this Davis Cup disappointment, but I feel like this is also the time to underline and reflect on how big Novak Djokovic's season has been. He won 3 slams. He was one set away from winning also in Wimbledon. He won the Australian Open, a 10th Australian Open title, and 22nd Grand Slam at that time. Probably the most emotional one for most of the fans, as I can, understand by talking with, with a lot of you, because of course it came just 1 year after the deportation from Australia, a moment which for some people and even some fans could have been difficult to overcome for Djokovic. He actually already demonstrated that he was already over it probably in 2022, over it at least in terms of his abilities on the court, his mentality. It's been a very emotional moment. Novak himself was really, really emotional after that win at the Australian Open. He won against Tsitsipas in the final, and then he won the French Open, completing the career Grand Slam for the third time, like no one in male tennis did in the past, in the Open era. So winning a third French Open, which was historical, and with that win also he surpassed Nadal in the Grand Slam race, winning his record-breaking 23rd Grand Slam title, which became 24 with the US Open, beating Medvedev in the final. And this already says it all about his season. But we can also add some more, because he won 2 Masters title, one in Cincinnati, which was probably the most dramatic match of the season, even if it was not in a Grand Slam, because of all what happened. Novak was struggling physically, was down a set in the break. Alcaraz was in control of the match. It really seemed, on his way to closing a straight set win, with Novak not also feeling particularly well, and Alcaraz was, let's be honest, outplaying him in that moment. And then Novak pulled off an incredible comeback, won the second set, also saving match point. And then he was up a break in the third set. He was serving for the match 5-4 up, had some match points, but Alcaraz actually came back and forced a deciding set tiebreak, which Novak won 7-4 in a final lasted 3 hours and 50 minutes, which is incredible, because if we think about it, it's a 3-set match which has lasted more than the Australian Open final, French Open final, US Open final. So this was not a Grand Slam victory, but also another incredible moment and memory, I feel, for all the Novak fans. I still remember Novak actually saying it felt like a Grand Slam final. It was true, I believe. Also due to his iconic celebration, dripping his shirt off, which was an iconic moment of this season. And also winning another Masters title, the 40th Masters title in Paris-Bercy, facing a lot of difficulties, having some stomach issues, but still winning a lot of deciding sets and still winning, because he is Novak Djokovic. Very few things can stop him. And then winning of course, the ATP finals, was maybe also a little bit lucky in the group stage, even if I wouldn't say that, because he also won 2 matches, so he did his job. But we also know that he needed Sinner to beat Rune that day. Sinner did it, and then from the semi-final, Novak played 2 unbelievable performances, winning 6-3, 6-2, 6-3, 6-3 against the 2 best right now players among the young generation, which are Alcaraz and Sinner. to win a record-breaking 7th ATP Finals, because he was tied with Federer. So what to say? I just wanted to make this excursus to not let this Davis Cup disappointment to bring the turn off the light of Novak's incredible season, which we have to underline, and which is up there with the greatest season he has ever had. In the season which definitely brought him all the possible records in tennis. Yeah, then I wanted also, of course, to talk about some story which went a little bit viral in the past days, which was apparently some media said that Novak Djoković refused an anti-doping control before his match against Cameron Norrie. Before giving my consideration, I have to underline that this is actually not true. Novak has not refused the anti-doping control against the rules, because it is within the rules between choosing right before the match or right after the match. So it's it's the player's choice, as the rules are stating. And so it's a little bit wrong to to give the headline like Novak Djokovic refuses an anti-doping control. It's definitely wrong. And yeah, of course there are also some misinformation on the internet, on the social media, on the even some journals spread some misinformation about this. It's a tendency, because right now we have news, and most of us tends to just rely on the source and not really investigate on what let's say but just because I am a journalist too, I try I try to not do it. We always have to research better, to do our own research before writing, and to just search among the rule book what a player is or not is allowed to do. And in that case, Novak was allowed to refuse the test. It's not in fact a refusal, let's say like that, because he was allowed just to postpone it after the match. Also because it's not that easy, let's be honest, to do a test right before a match. Also because it can from a mental point of view, first of all, and also from a physical point of view, it can be a little bit dangerous if, for example, you have to do a blood test, like in Novak's case. It can be a little bit dangerous, because you have to play a tennis match right after that, and so it cannot be really the best. So I think in that case I can sympathize for Novak and for the choice he took. Underline that he was really not, in my opinion, not in my opinion, he was not a refusal. It was not a refusal because, as the rules state, he could, within the rules, just postpone the the control, let's say like that. So there's been a little bit of a misinformation about that. And yeah, now let's see. I hope that who spread the news will clarify what was saying that. Even if not, I will, we as a podcast and other source of news, I think that we'll try to clarify what happened really, and not letting anyone to spread misinformation to which can hurt Novak's name and reputation, because it's wrong. At least we know that he's super careful about everything he puts on in his body. And then, of course, it's a little bit brutal to go, in my opinion, to ask a player just 1 hour, 90 minutes before your match, while you're doing your preparation, your warm-up activities to do an anti-doping control. You can just do it after the match, even, because if you have taken any substance, doing after the match doesn't change anything. It would still show that you have taken the substance. So I feel like we can, these doping controls are, of course, right, and we have to do that because we all want a clean sport. But the timing, in my opinion, can be a little bit more sensitive towards the players, in my opinion. And then, of course, there's also been a little bit of a controversy about the Davis Cup wildcards, because, as we know, the two finalists are, directly into the Davis Cup group stage. And this, of course, rightfully, because they showed on the court to be the two best performing team this year, which are Italy, who won the Davis Cup, as I said before, and Australia, which was beaten by Italy in the final. So Italy and Australia directly into the Davis Cup group stage. They will need to play the qualifier stage in February. And then two wildcards. We know that the organization can award two wildcards to two teams. I don't know regarding, I don't know the choice, if it's because they feel like they deserve, if they feel, I don't know. Yeah, the choice have been Spain and Great Britain. With Spain into also the Davis Cup group stage already, we also know that Nadal and Alcaraz are already, qualified to the not already qualified, but can have the qualification to the Olympic Games, even if they have not played as many Davis Cup ties as they should have done in order to qualify. That said, I would say that this one is not really the biggest deal, in my opinion. I feel like Spain can be a deserving team of the wild card because of all the great player they have, and also because I understand that I disagree with the final stage always being played in Spain. I would like it to rotate a little bit better. I can understand that probably Europe is the best solution because of the ATP finals being played in Europe. And so probably this may help the top players to not having to refuse to participate, like, for example, happened in the female tennis to Iga Świątek, for example, who didn't go to the Billie Jean King Cup finals because she was playing a week earlier. She was playing in Cancun, so in another continent, the WTA finals. So I disagree with, the finals always being played in Spain. But at the same point, I feel like that if they are played in Spain, having Spain there can be a plus in terms of the crowd, people wanting to fulfill the stadium. And so I can understand in some way the wild card awarded to Spain. Also because Spain is, one of the highest ranked player in the Davis Cup ranking. Spain is fourth. And the Davis Cup ranking consider the results earned during the previous 4 Davis Cup editions. So I can understand it. Probably I agree with people who says that Serbia would have deserved it more than the United Kingdom, Great Britain. First of all, because Serbia beat Great Britain this year. And also because Great Britain is behind Serbia in the ranking. We saw that Spain is 4th. Then you have Serbia is 5th. And Great Britain is just behind. So even from a ranking point of view, probably, that's not the best possible solution, in my opinion. I still would have awarded it to Serbia. And also because as it's important, in my opinion, to have Spain, because Spain has great players like Alcaraz and probably Nadal, and also it is the host team of the final stage. Serbia has, Novak Djoković, which is also an important presence in the final stage. So yeah, if I were the organization, I would have awarded honestly the wildcards to Serbia and Spain. That's my take on the matter. That said, I also have to say that I don't like the wildcard thing. In my opinion, it can either be the finalist already qualified for the group stage of the next year, or either just the 4 semifinalists at this point. So in this case, Italy, Australia, Serbia, and Finland. So basically, considering the results of the previous years. So if we have to qualify to directly qualify 4 teams for the group stage of the following year, I would just award this advantage, let's call it, to the 4 best performing countries of the previous year, so the 4 semifinalists. And that's my take about that. I honestly don't really like the wildcard stuff. Yeah. So I have talked about Davis Cup, gave my opinion about Novak performance. Recapitulating a little bit, I just would push on not letting this quite disappointment, especially I think for the Serbian fans, because it was their country, to turning off the light of an amazing and historical season, because it's really been an historical season. And then also my take on the anti-doping matter, and on the Davis Cup wildcards, which my take is that just simply I don't like them, because I would give it to the 4 best performing teams of the previous year. Yeah. That said, I think that it may be all, focusing on Novak and Serbia and all the stories related to him. I would at this point just like, if you all would subscribe, turn on the notifications. We are trying to grow. Next week we are going on with another super episode. So we will for sure have a guest, I'm sure of that, because I've spoken to Marko before. So I really would like you all to subscribe and to follow us, and even to follow our social media channel. Marko is doing an incredible job, especially running all the pages, and try to always arrange something good for our pod. We had some good success with some episodes, and we would like to have even more. Why not? If we are interested in the channel and in our work, just support us. We'll try to grow and to produce always some even better content. I really hope you have enjoyed this half an hour we spent together. Let me know in the comments if we agree or disagree with what I said, and what's your opinions about the matters. I really would like to read many comments under this one. So yeah, just I would like you all also to remember that we're back next week for sure. Yeah, bye bye, and have a nice day, all of you.